Hello everybody and welcome to a video that has been requested for quite a long time. Today is the day that we will get into how to paint and gloss your Lego minifigures. This is something that I've been doing for the better part of, a year or two now. I will be going through the process with a couple of these pieces. Here I have on screen right now just some examples of some glossed items. You can see this wrist, this Pip-Boy, and the helmet have both been painted and glossed. Here we have a newer item that I've made, which I'm quite proud of. This is the Master Chief Halo Infinite look, as well as the assault rifle has actually been glossed as well. There's Batman, the cowl, and these are actually the two that we'll be working on in this video, just to show as an example. Mordecai and Rigby, and these ones, even the torsos are glossed. These ones are using some of the older ways that I used to gloss Lego. Last but not least, we have a Kakashi minifigure. His whole mask area is all painted and glossed up. So we will get all of these guys out of the way. Tools that we're going to need for this process, just some brushes, and you can see these are pretty thick brushes. If I'm going to be doing something like detail oriented, if I was going to be painting on some smaller areas like that, I would probably want a thinner brush. You should use two brushes, and that's because one we'll be using for applying the paint and one we'll be using for applying the gloss later on. Another thing is just an X-Acto knife. Another optional one, some sandpaper. I will drop links to, everything I use in the description. So if you have questions on where to get things, check the description below and you should be able to find links there. For today's video, here's some of the paints we're going to be using. You can see these are all apple barrel paints. You can find these at any Walmart as well as Amazon, and I'll put links in the description below. Now, the first thing that I used at the beginning of this process was this sort of gloss spray paint. I used to use these. What ended up happening is when I would spray this, a lot of bubbles would show up in the actual paint and create a lot of issues. When it would dry, you'd see bubbles everywhere. Finally, I found a different way to achieve the same results. And so if you want to do the aerosol can, any gloss clear will do. I just did want to mention that just because it's what I've used for about a year up until now, which is what we'll get into. My new method, which is just some lacquer. This is a lacquer clear coat that's actually meant to be used for wood finishing. This is just lacquer that comes in this can. It's a little expensive. I think it's like $15 to $20 somewhere in there. I can't be sure. But I will drop a link to this in the description. As you can also see, this one right here is the semi-gloss clear. I just like the finish on this one a little bit more than the straight up gloss or the matte. I actually have this respirator that I usually use when I would spray, but even now you don't want to be unsafe. To pry this open, you actually can get a real tool to do that. I actually just use these little hobby clippers that I've had forever and I don't use them for anything anymore. And so we're just going to go around the edges and then we'll just take off the lid. And inside you can see it's very yellow, and that's fine. It doesn't actually dry or come out yellow. It actually just comes out clear. I recommend just setting this off to the side with the lid slightly on, but not closed down. And then when we'll get into glossing, you'll be able to use it for what you need. Put the lid just back on just slightly and put that off to the side for right now, and then we'll get into painting, which is very, very easy, and then we'll get back to this in a bit after that. Here we have our two figures that we're going to be demonstrating the paint process and gloss process with. I've decided to do two just so you can see how different paint looks and how to gloss it on different colors. I'm going to be doing this Master Chief right here in just a standard Lego green color to sort of imitate this image right here. It's like a old leaked image, sort of April Fool's Day type of thing, and I just really like the look, and it's been in my head for years. So we're going to use this as an excuse, this video as an excuse to do that. And then we're just going to do a animated series Batman cowl, which is a piece that both of these are both pieces that I've recently made, and I'm just going to show you a gloss. So we'll be doing both of these today. Let's get one of our brushes. Let's use this little brush right now for the painting, and then we'll use this one for the glossing. And before I even start painting, I like to I usually hit it on the side of the table, but I like to do this and get all the dust out, and then I will the dust from either old paint or just dust from settling, whatever, just so there's no dust on the brush. I've just found that I'll be painting at times and the dust will actually show up in the paint, and that's just something I've been in the habit of doing recently, is just getting the dust off my paint, and that actually has helped a little bit. We're going to be needing something to put the paint on. I've just used this like printer sheet paper. Let's go ahead and remove some of these parts just so we can get to painting. I have these little skewers that I picked up on Amazon. I just like these because they got little clips on the end and they also have magnets. So I just have something off to the side that's magnetic that they stick to on the bottom. I would definitely recommend, sanding all these little, areas off, either with an X-Acto knife. I'll just maybe demonstrate a little bit right here, like just off to the side, like that. Just getting rid of the big print lines. You can either do it like that. You can have a sheet of sandpaper, something like this, a little one, or one of these filers, sandpaper filers, and just sand them like that as well. So let's first start with the green. So I'm actually using new Shamrock is what I found really imitates this Lego green very well. Let's just grab our Master Chief helmet, add a little bit of water to this paint just to make the consistency a little bit easier to work with. And I just apply a thin, even layer across the entire thing. Once we just get, all the base areas sort of covered with our first coat, we can go ahead and set this off to the side to let that dry. And we will go ahead and grab our back cowl and then load our brush up, add a little bit of water, just apply the exact same way that we did with the Halo helmet, just like that. And we can go ahead and let that dry. And now they are all painted up. I've done maybe 2 or 3 coats of just basically what you saw in that first part. I've just repeated that process maybe 2 or 3 times really quick. This is how I make the visors on the Halo armor metallic. That's how I paint them. I like stick an X-Acto knife and then I grab the X-Acto knife with that little thing, and then yeah, that's how I do it. I've filled in some other details on this helmet. We'll start with this chest armor. We're gonna bring in our lacquer. We're gonna go ahead and switch over to our other brush. I just dip in the brush, leave just enough just to start getting the coats on. We're just kind of coating everything, and I'm not really pressing very hard like I might would with paint. I'm just sort of like lightly guiding the gloss, to all the corners and whatnot. If you let some of the gloss dry up in corners and whatnot, it's going to be all like goopy in that area, and you'll lose some of the sharp angles. So you just want to make sure that like that corner back there and this corner right here and stuff like that, that you don't let like too much of the gloss sort of dry up in that corner. So that's basically going to be it for at least this first coat. Let's now grab some more gloss here. I think that's basically good for that part. Now let's actually just move on to the Batman. And I do like to hit all of the parts that I plan on glossing all at once. This helmet, I like to start by just adding it in this middle section and just kind of pulling it down. Doing it on the other 2 areas up there, back around. We'll just let this one dry. I've just off camera done one more coat, figured I would quickly show you how I get rid of gloss on the brush. So I just have a paper towel here, and then I'll take some isopropyl and I will just pour it over the brush. I know this is terrible for the brush. I know this is not what you're supposed to do, but these brushes I basically just only use for glossing. So I will just sort of rub it into the paper towel, flip it over, and pour some more isopropyl on there. Really soak it in, and just keep brushing and pulling it out and cleaning it off, and eventually you won't be able to feel any gloss in there. You might need to repeat this process. Yeah, so we're waiting for all the gloss to dry right now, and then we may or may not cut back to another gloss coat. Maybe we'll do it off camera, or we'll just cut to like conclusion, but we'll see what happens next right now. We've let it dry for a few hours now. I would definitely recommend you let the parts dry for a little bit longer than that. Let me clean up this neck right here. Just there's a little bit extra of stuff that I don't want on there, but I would definitely suggest that you let them dry maybe a day or 2 before you assemble things and whatnot and handle them. I like to wear a glove if it's less time than that, just so that it doesn't leave any fingerprint impressions in the clear gloss. And I feel like that does a good enough job, so I'm also impatient. But I would suggest if you can wait to wait a little bit longer than like a day or 2. but let me just assemble this. This is definitely an interesting look for a Master Chief. Again, I was going for that picture that I showed at the beginning of the video. Here's the olive green look, and then here is that just regular Lego green. I've never really done one in this color, so it's definitely interesting to see them side by side. And then let's see, here is the animated series Batman cowl. There's those together. So here's the final results. I think that they turned out great. I would maybe refrain from, you know, over handling them for like a week. Give them like a week to like fully solidify. I feel like after a week they end up being like rock solid. They're ready to, you know, even put in a pocket or whatever you want. But I would say, like, for up till that time, be careful handling them. Don't press your fingers really hard onto the parts, because until it's completely dry, it's gonna maybe leave some fingerprints. But for now, you know, like minimal use handling, like it's probably good. This is only a few hours, you know, and it's not gonna do anything crazy unless you're like, you know, manhandling it. But yeah, I think hopefully this video was educational and taught you some things about how to get these results. I'm so glad I finally finished this. People have been asking this for me to make this video for quite a long time. So yeah, this has been a long time coming, and if you guys have any other burning questions or suggestions for videos, please leave them in the comments down below, as well as head over to my Instagram, check out what I've got going out there. There's going to be links in the description for all the tools I used during this video, as well as my website and also my Instagram, so you can stay up to date with all that type of stuff. Yeah, I guess that's probably it for the video. Thanks so much for sticking around and watching. I appreciate your support. Share this with a friend, share this with a family member who's into this type of stuff. It helps with the algorithm. And please, if you haven't already, please subscribe as well as like this video. That's about it. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.